Before we begin tonight's story, I need to warn you, what you're about to hear is deeply unsettling. This is a first-hand account of what happens when someone comes back from Bigfoot territory, but they're not quite themselves anymore. If you're ready to hear the truth about what's hiding in the Pacific Northwest forests, then settle in, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and whatever you do, if you're watching this alone in the woods right now, maybe reconsider that decision. Let's begin. Marcus hasn't eaten in 11 days. His refrigerator is full of the groceries I bought him. The chicken is rotting. But when I check on him every morning, he says he feels fine. Better than fine, actually. He says he's never been hungry in his life. And yesterday I watched him drink an entire gallon of whole milk in one sitting. He didn't swallow once. My name is David Chen, and 3 months ago my older brother Marcus disappeared during a hunting trip in the North Cascades. When he came back 8 days later, everyone called it a miracle. I call it the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Marcus and I were only 18 months apart. Growing up in Bellingham, we did everything together. Our dad taught us to hunt when we were 12 and 10. Every fall, same ritual. We'd take a week off work, drive up to the Snoqualmie Forest, set up camp near Thornton Creek, and pretend we were still kids who believed the woods were magic. Last October, Marcus needed that trip more than ever. His wife Sarah had filed for divorce that August. 8 years of marriage, gone. She got the house in Fremont, their dog Copper, even the damn coffee maker Marcus bought with his first real paycheck. He'd been sleeping on our mum's couch for 6 weeks, going through the motions at his engineering job, looking like a ghost of himself. "I need to get out of my head," he told me when we loaded up my truck. "I need to remember what it feels like to just exist." I remember thinking how small he looked, folding himself into the passenger seat. Marcus had always been the bigger one, 6'2", played linebacker in high school. Now his jacket hung off him like he was disappearing inside his own clothes. The first 2 days were good, really good. We barely talked, just existed in that comfortable silence you can only have with someone who's known you your whole life. We saw a black bear on day 2, a big male, maybe 300 pounds. Marcus and I just watched it dig for grubs until it wandered off. No fear, just respect. Day 3, things started feeling wrong. I woke up around 4 a.m. to use the bathroom outside our tent. The moon was almost full, bright enough to see without a flashlight. That's when I noticed Marcus's sleeping bag was empty. I found him standing at the edge of our campsite, barefoot in his boxers and t-shirt, staring into the tree line. "Marcus," I whispered, "you okay?" He didn't turn around, just kept staring. After maybe 30 seconds, long enough that I was about to shake him, he spoke. "There's someone out there." I looked where he was looking. Nothing but Douglas firs and darkness. "I don't see anyone, man." "Not someone," he corrected himself, voice flat. "Something. It's been watching us since we got here." The way he said it made my skin crawl. Not scared, not even concerned, just stating a fact. "Come back to bed," I said. "You're probably just half asleep." He turned to look at me then, and in the moonlight his eyes looked different. Too reflective, like a cat's eyes catching light. "Yeah," he said, "probably," but he didn't move for another 5 minutes. Just stood there in his bare feet, the temperature maybe 40 degrees, not even shivering. The next morning I found tracks around our camp. Not bear tracks, not deer. These were footprints, if you can call them that. 17 inches long, I measured with my hunting knife laid end to end 3 times. 5 clear toe impressions. The stride between prints was longer than I was tall. "Marcus, look at this." He came over, stared at the prints for a long time, then said, "We should follow them." "What? No, we should pack up and—" "Dave." He looked at me, and again there was something off about his expression. Too calm. "Whatever made these has been circling our camp for 2 nights. If it wanted to hurt us, we'd already be hurt. I want to know what it is." That wasn't Marcus talking. Marcus was cautious to a fault. He was the one who made us file our route plan with the ranger station, who triple-checked our first aid kit, who never took risks. But I followed him anyway. Because he was my brother, and he'd been hurting. And maybe I thought tracking some weird animal prints would give him something else to focus on besides his ruined marriage. We followed the tracks for maybe 2 miles, deeper into the forest than we'd ever gone. They led us to a clearing where the canopy opened up and actual sunlight hit the forest floor. In the center of the clearing was a deer carcass, not torn apart like a predator would do it. Arranged. The legs were folded beneath it. The head was turned at an angle no living deer's neck could bend, and the ribcage had been opened, surgically almost, with the heart removed, and placed exactly 6 feet away on a flat rock. "What the hell?" I breathed. Marcus walked right up to it, crouched down, put his hand on the deer's flank like he was petting it. "It's still warm," he said. "Marcus, we need to leave, right now." He looked up at me, and I swear to God his pupils were dilated so wide I could barely see the brown of his irises. "It's a gift, Dave. Can't you see? It's a gift. It's a deer carcass. Let's go." That's when we heard it, a sound I can't properly describe. Imagine a scream, but wrong, too low in register, with this weird clicking undertone, like someone was playing a recording of a human scream through a damaged speaker. It came from everywhere and nowhere, echoing through the trees. Marcus stood up slowly, smiled. "There you are," he whispered. "Marcus, run!" I grabbed his arm and pulled, and thank God he came with me. We ran back toward camp, that sound following us, sometimes ahead of us, sometimes behind. Branches whipped my face, my lungs burned. Marcus was laughing, actually laughing. We made it back to camp as the sun was setting. I immediately started packing everything. "We're leaving," I said. "First light, we're out." "Okay," Marcus agreed, too easily. We didn't sleep that night. We sat in the tent with our knives out, listening to the sounds outside. Footsteps circling, that same screaming, clicking sound, but quieter now, almost conversational. And then, around 3 a.m., we heard our father's voice. Boys, come on out. I've been looking for you." Our father had been gone for 9 years. Aneurysm, sudden, at 53. Marcus unzipped the tent. "What are you doing?" I grabbed him. "That's Dad," he said, confused. "Don't you hear him? He's calling us." "Marcus, Dad is gone." "Marcus, David, please, I'm lost." He needs help," Marcus said. And there were tears running down his face now. "Dave, he needs help. We have to—" I tackled him, held him down while he struggled and cried and begged me to let him go to Dad. I held him until sunrise, until the voice finally stopped. When morning came, Marcus seemed normal again, confused about why we were on the tent floor, why his jacket was torn, why I was crying. "Let's just get the trail camera and go," he said quietly. "I'm sorry about whatever that was." Marcus went to get the camera we'd set up on a game trail about half a mile from camp. I started breaking down the tent. He should have been back in 20 minutes. After 45 minutes, I went looking for him. I found the camera ripped from the tree, lens smashed, no SD card. Marcus's rifle was lying in the middle of the trail, safety still on. His hat was snagged on a branch 10 feet up a tree. No signs of struggle, just absence. I called his name until my voice gave out. Started following boot prints that led deeper into the forest, into terrain that got steeper and rockier. The prints walked through blackberry brambles that should have shredded his legs, through a stream that was waist-deep and freezing. They just kept going. They ended at a cliff face. Sheer rock, maybe 70 feet of it. The boot prints went right up to the base and stopped. No other tracks leading away, no indication he'd climbed. Just stopped, like he'd walked straight through solid rock. I called 911. Search and rescue came. Helicopters, dogs, volunteers from 3 counties. They searched for a week. They found nothing, no trace, no evidence. Like Marcus had simply ceased to exist. On day 8, I was at the ranger station giving another statement when someone knocked on the door. It was Marcus. He was dirty, scratched up. His clothes were torn, but he was walking, talking, alive. "Where have you been?" I grabbed him, checked him over for injuries. "I don't know," he said, and his voice sounded strange, echoey. "I was walking to the camera, and then I was here. What day is it?" 8 days. He'd been gone for 8 days. In that terrain with no food or water, in October when the temperatures dropped below freezing at night. He should have been gone for good. The paramedics checked him over. Normal temperature, normal heart rate, no dehydration, No signs of exposure. Blood sugar slightly elevated, but nothing concerning. It was impossible, but there he was. They kept him overnight for observation, ran every test. CAT scan, MRI, blood work. Everything came back normal. The psychiatrist diagnosed him with dissociative fugue, a trauma response where someone loses time and memory. When I picked him up the next day, Marcus seemed fine, tired, confused about the missing week, but fine. The drive back to Bellingham, he was quiet. He stared out the window at the trees sliding past. After about an hour, he said, "Dave, do you ever feel like you're supposed to be somewhere else?" "What do you mean?" "Like, this isn't right. This car, this road, going back to the city. Like I'm supposed to be—" He trailed off. "Never mind. I'm just tired." I helped him get settled back in at our mom's place, made him promise to see his doctor, get some rest, eat something substantial. That's when I started noticing the things that were wrong. Day 3 after he came back, I stopped by with groceries. Found Marcus standing in the backyard, staring at the trees at the edge of the property line. He'd been there for at least an hour, his mum said. Hadn't moved, hadn't blinked. When I touched his shoulder, he jerked like I'd electrocuted him. "Jesus, Dave, don't sneak up on me. You've been standing here for an hour, man." He looked confused. "No, I just came out here like 5 minutes ago." Day 5. I took him to lunch. He ordered a burger. Watched him take a bite, chew exactly 32 times. I counted, and swallow. Then he carefully wiped his mouth, put down the burger, and didn't eat another bite. "Not hungry? I'm full," he said. He'd eaten 1 bite. 1. Over the next week, I never saw him eat actual food. He'd drink things, water, milk, juice, but solid food seemed to make him nauseous. "It tastes wrong," he explained, "like I'm eating something that's already gone bad. Does that make sense?" It didn't. Nothing made sense. Day 12. His ex-wife, Sarah, called me, voice shaking. "Dave, Marcus showed up at my house last night at 2 a.m. He just stood in the driveway for 20 minutes. When I finally went out there, you know what he said to me?" "What?" "He said, 'I know why you left. You could smell it on me, couldn't you? You knew I wasn't going to stay.'" "What does that mean, Dave? What does that mean?" I had no answer for her. Day 15. I let myself into his apartment to check on him. Found every piece of furniture pushed against the walls. In the center of the living room, he'd torn up the carpet and scratched something into the hardwood underneath. Not words. Symbols. Dozens of them, arranged in a pattern that hurt to look at directly, like they were moving when you weren't focusing on them. Marcus was asleep on the bare floor in the middle of the symbols, curled in a fetal position. When I shook him awake, he looked at me with those 2 reflective eyes and said, "I'm forgetting how to be him." "What?" "Marcus. I'm forgetting how to be Marcus. The way he walked, the things he liked, how his voice sounded. It's slipping away." He grabbed my arm, fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. "Dave, I don't think I have much time left." "Time left for what?" "Marcus, you're scaring me. To decide if I want to finish the change or fight it." He let go of my arm, looked down at his hands like they belonged to someone else. "It would be so easy to just let go, stop pretending, go back." "Back where?" He smiled, and it was the saddest thing I'd ever seen. "Where I'm supposed to be." Last week, Marcus stopped answering his phone. I went to his apartment. The door was unlocked, swinging open. Inside, everything was gone, not packed up, gone. Furniture, clothes, dishes, everything. Just bare walls and empty rooms, except for one thing. In the living room, where the symbols had been scratched into the floor, there was a pile of items, carefully arranged. His wallet, his phone, his house keys, his wedding ring, his driver's license, every piece of documentation that proved Marcus Chen existed. And on top of the pile, a note in handwriting that was almost but not quite his. "Thank you for trying to keep him. He fought longer than most do. But the forest doesn't let go of what it claims. Tell Mom I'm sorry. Tell Sarah she was right to leave. What came back wasn't your brother. It was just wearing him while it remembered how. -M. I called the authorities. Filed a missing person report. They're investigating, but I know they won't find anything because Marcus isn't missing. He went home. 4 days ago, I woke up at 3 a.m. to that sound, that screaming, clicking sound from the forest, coming from my backyard. I looked out my window. There was someone standing at the tree line. Tall, wrong proportions, shoulders too broad, arms too long. But when it turned its head to look at my window, I saw Marcus's face, or something wearing Marcus's face. It raised one hand, not waving, just acknowledging me. Then it stepped back into the trees and disappeared. Last night, I found footprints in my backyard, 17 inches long, 5 toes, leading from the forest to my back door. They stopped at the threshold, like something was testing to see if it could come inside. I don't know how long Marcus fought it. Days, weeks. How long did he try to hold on to being human before he couldn't anymore? And I don't know what it says about me that sometimes, late at night, I hear that clicking, screaming sound in the distance and I think, at least he's not in pain anymore. At least he's where he belongs. Because whatever took my brother from those woods, it gave something back in return, and that something tried so hard to be Marcus. It really did try. This morning, I found a deer heart on my doorstep, placed on a flat rock, still warm. I think it's a gift. I think it's an invitation. And God help me, part of me wants to accept. If you made it this far, thank you for listening to this story. These encounters happen more often than people think, deep in the forests where most of us never go. If this story gave you chills, please hit that like button and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, especially if you're near the Pacific Northwest. I read every single comment. If you want more true Bigfoot encounter stories like this one, subscribe to Silent Bigfoot Stories and turn on the notification bell so you never miss when the next story drops. We upload new encounters every week. Stay safe out there. And remember, if you hear someone calling your name from the woods and you're alone, don't answer until next time.